Beloved, good morning. We're going to step away from the cozy cabin build today because we have a couple of exciting things going on. We're going to be doing a prescribed burn, or you and I are going to go do that. But we have my manservant, Mr. Jiraiya, and my son, Jack, are doing some major upgrades over in Shop 1.0, and we'll check in on them and just kind of bounce around. We might even give you a little update on the 150 native trees that we planted down by the river. So we'll see where that takes us. So let's go get our fire stuff together and we'll get the prescribed burn going. Let's go see how the boys are doing.
We'll need to get a drill for the wood before we run into the concrete anchors.
What are you doing?
We're covering this wall in wood, just like the rest of the shop.
Yes. Not just any wood.
Tongue and groove.
Doug fir, the tree of your people.
Mm-hmm. My people. I'm from Sweden.
Tree of my people. This is the product that I like to use on the walls. It's a full, it's called Select Deck. It's a full 2x6 T&G Doug fir with tight knot. Nice thing about that on the wall is it's so thick that you can, anything you need to mount to it, cabinets, I mean, you basically have 100% coverage when it comes to backing, and it looks really nice. Now we are going to run down to the tent and get our drip torch. Today we're going to burn the grass on the fence line while we can control it. We don't want to have this grass all here dry in the middle of summer, so somebody dragging a tire chain or throwing a cigarette out will ignite this. So we'll get this, remove all this fuel by burning it. To do our burn, we'll use an old school US Forest Service drip torch. This is a tool that is still used today for prescribed burns, and in it we'll make a mix of 25% gas, 75% diesel. Naturally. Keeps the dust down anyway. Before we start our burn, we want to make sure we run our pump. Everything is functioning and we have water in case our fire gets away from us. The greatest engine of all time, the Honda GX Industrial Super Skookum. Always turn your fuel off on Honda engines if you're working with wildland type of stuff or anything that's really rough. They have a tendency, what we found is that if they bounce a lot, the floats flood the engine and then you get too much fuel in and they're hard starting. So shut off the fuel and that seems to fix it. All right, gentlemen, to he who has an ear, let him hear. This is very, very important. If you're ever going to be doing a prescribed burn or burning your fields, you got to work with the wind and you have to pay special attention to it. Reason being, if we were to start a fire over here and the wind is pushing it and driving it, now we get a fire that's just is off to the races that we'll never get a hold of, and we can burn down our neighbor's house and everything. So we do the opposite. We go downwind and we burn up. That way the wind is constantly pushing the flame back upon itself to the already spent fuels and we can control it. But before we do that, we need a rock solid anchor point, something that we can defend that will not get away from us, and then we'll burn from there. And this will be our anchor point, these big boulders in the fence line. As the 300 defended the hot gates, we will defend this. The wind is coming this way, and we will burn that way, and we will not let anything pass this. And once we get a little bit burnt in some black area, then we'll be good. You see now how that wind is driving the fire back onto what's already burnt, that spent fuel. You can control it this way. It'll march forward, but much slower. We've got a little jackpot here. A jackpot is a term in wildland firefighting when the fuel hits something with a heavy load. Could be a dead tree or a bunch of dry brush where the fire will flare up real intensely. That's called a jackpot. The wind is cooperating with us. I don't think we need to keep that recirculating. It's just creeping along perfectly. The good book says that when Christ returns, he will cleanse this world with an all-consuming fire. I think it's why one of the things for me that's so important is staying connected with the real world. Fire, smoke, fear, cold, right? All those things. Because it makes those metaphors so much more important. When you can feel the heat of something, it gives you a different perspective than just watching something on a video screen. My first fire line of the season. You know, we probably ought to put our fire boots on. That's a long way to walk with glass bowl. Thank you.
I didn't know what you wanted.
That's great.
Little lemonade.
Yep, perfect. Thank you, love.
Love you.
How's the baby?
She's great.
Occupied? Oh, my torch is on fire. Goodness, I don't think this is recommended. It's hot. Fire is a great tool. It can save you a lot of work. Who knows what applications could be useful in the future for the coming struggle. Looks like we've got a fence post on fire. Let's go put that out. Actually, let's rig for mobile operations.
Getting there.
It looks and smells great. Yeah, nicely done.
So we just used a bunch of self-drilling screws and sunk them up through the bottom, and then right here, because we have a post and there's screws that come up right here, we just put a layer over top so we can still keep the wood consistently going. And we have a 1/2 inch gap to push it up a little bit, so that way the water doesn't get into the wood.
Yep. Looks great, guys.
Slide me in here. And push